Hey fellas, and today I wanted to cover another subreddit that I stole from the Click. Obviously he doesn't own the coverage of like public subreddit communities, but I actively went to his channel and looked, what has he done recently? And like, yep, that's mine now. I was originally gonna do entitled parents, which I might still head up someday. Let me know if you guys want to see that. But I decided to go a little broader with the stories and instead look at r/entitled people, because entitled people exist in every dynamic you're gonna have in your life. Maybe it was like parents you have to interact with, maybe it was your own parents, maybe it was your dumb cat who just got fed and knows that they're not gonna get fed till tomorrow, meowing, please put a little more kibble in my bowl. No, shut up, you don't deserve it. If you enjoy this video, this card at the end will take you to another one like it, and be sure to subscribe with notifications on so you never miss another upload. A new, to me, way for a squatter to grab my aisle seat. I've been flying for decades, but this one was new to me. I was traveling with my 80-year-old brother? Was the zero a typo, man? Like, how old do you have to be to type this on Reddit? I feel like you aren't supposed to be tech savvy enough to even know how to make an account on this website. He needs wheelchairs and a bit of looking after during a flight, so I made sure that in addition to the wheelchair, I booked 2 aisle seats directly across from each other. You know, that's totally fair. Some people need more space. Larger folk need 2 seats sometimes to be able to comfortably sit on a flight. Do what you gotta do as long as you're willing to make the arrangements for those accommodations yourself. I got no issue with the hustle. The flight was completely full though. I boarded the flight and found a man in my aisle seat. He tried to claim that seat AX was the aisle seat and so mine was the window. Little did he know that you were gonna be able to pull out the ticket screenshot on your Apple Wallet right in front of him. It's like, I got both of these, brother. You are a squatter. You are a liar. I've been flying on AA for decades, and on a plane with 3x3 seating, C and D are the aisles, A and F are the window. I attempted to explain this nicely to him. You did give him an out, man. You did go with the pacifist route first. Can you tell I just started my Undertale phase in the grand old age of 25? I fear that game would have destroyed me if I played it when it first came out. I would never have recovered, and I would be a completely different person than the man you speak before you now. He insisted that I was wrong, and he was right. And the thing is, you can just check the fucking labeling on the seats, like it's right above there. Instead of trying to explain it a second time, I would have just pointed to the damn thing. I don't think anybody should strive to be a Karen in their lifetime, but you should always have the capacity to pull it out if you find yourself in a situation where it becomes necessary. I didn't argue with him any further. I simply asked the flight attendant to explain the seating letter system to him. She did, and he then tried to argue with her that the airline booked him with the wrong seat. He finally took his window seat, grumbling about it, and so I could take my assigned aisle seat. I'll give the guy an A for originality, but the whole way to deal with these entitled folks is to be polite, but firm, and involve the flight attendant if you can't make any headway. I have a really bad time not peeing, not because my bladder doesn't work or anything, but I got like some old OCD in the noggin. The compulsion is to just like go and pee. So I'll nicely ask someone if I was only able to get like a window seat on a flight, hey, it's literally because of this, would you be okay with swapping? And if they say no, that's the end of the line. You don't push it any further, man. At the end of the day, they booked that seat fair and square. I'm simply making a request that they should be free to turn down. I would never make someone get the flight attendant involved with that, where it's like, actually I have a medical issue, because I don't. I got a personal hang-up. All right, here we go. I've specifically chosen ones that are tagged S in the subreddit, which I believe stands for small, so we're not on any one scenario for too long, but I feel like the ones that get really long end up being really juicy by the end of it, so if you guys want to see me get into the more in-depth ones, then I can definitely set that up for y'all. He brought his dog into my backyard without asking, then got mad when it stepped in my garden. Didn't call, didn't knock, just opened the gate and walked in it with his dog like it was no big deal. Oh, so he trespassed. Yeah, probably shouldn't have done that, man. That opens you up to a lot of culpability. The dog ran straight into my garden, knocked over a pot, and crushed a few of my seedlings I just planted. Oh, property damage, man. You can get him in a corner right now. Definitely sounds entitled, but you could be like such a bitch about this, and I'm not even sure I'd be mad at you for it. I asked him why he thought it was okay. He literally said, it's just yard. If your plants are delicate, maybe don't leave them out. Then followed it up with, your yard's always empty. I thought you wouldn't care. It doesn't matter what you think I would think. It's my fucking yard! I'm gonna be honest with y'all. If you don't be like Jack Doherty, I know he's like kind of a little shithead now. Everybody knows that in like a more explicit capacity where he like crashes cars into stuff and then doesn't really care about his cameraman's well-being and just tells him to keep filming for the sake of content. I first found out about that kid when he was like vlogging as a 12-year-old, and he was sneaking into random people's backyards and using their water trampolines like without their permission, filming it and then saying it like it was cool. I think your dad should have beat you to a pulp. I don't believe in corporeal punishment or hitting your kids. I specifically believe in hitting that kid. I told him to leave and not come back unless he asked first, and he rolled his eyes and muttered something about me overreacting. In a way, you could say he broke and entered, man, because he went on your property and broke your shit. I don't care if it was the dog who did it. You chose to bring the dog with you. The dog is your responsibility, and you let it do that shit, you fucking idiot. Get cameras to watch your backyard and its entry. He'll be back for sure. Yeah, yeah, I'm seriously considering it. Better to prove it if he tries this again. I would highly recommend that, man. I'm not like trying to be one of those HOA set trippers who gets really uppity about shit happening, like, not in my backyard, but quite literally, this was somebody doing shit in his backyard, not just where he could see it happening. Ooh, this one seems like it might be juicy. An entitled coworker insists I change vacation days because her trip is more fun than mine. Listen, there's like an argument you can make that like some people taking off days have better reasons than others. Like maybe they're trying to see family, maybe it's a wedding they can't really change the date of, and it's like you're not going to be able to see that moment in a loved one's life again. But because I would just have more fun than you on my trip than you would yours, at my workplace we have to ask for vacation time months in advance at work because only a certain number of people can be off at a time. This is usually the case. I feel like that's a totally fair thing to try and set up. I booked a week of vacation for a family reunion that time. First time we've all been together in years. Seems perfectly reasonable to me, man. You got first come, first dibs. Along comes Karen, who obviously didn't plan ahead and now wants to take the exact same week off for a Cancun trip with her friends. When she finds out I already had that week approved, she asked me to cancel mine. I laughed first because I thought she was kidding. And if she was kidding, decent joke. It's like, man, I wanted to go on this last minute trip. Do you think you could like cancel your plans that you've had planned for months at this point? A hearty old belly laugh at, oh, you've always been that jokester of a coworker. That's why we like having you around. She said, well, it's just a family thing, right? Mine is a real vacation with more fun than yours. I already told everyone I'm going. I told her, yeah, and I already booked flights months ago. What do you want them to do? Get a refund on those, man? It doesn't matter if you think your shit would be more fun. The family trip could easily be like more important. Maybe you have to actually do something, like get somebody's will together before they pass because, believe it or not, people die. She didn't like that answer and actually tried to guilt trip me in front of other coworkers. Ooh, messy. Saying I was being selfish and wrecking her once-in-a-lifetime trip. Side note, she goes on at least 3 vacations a year. Nah, man, I hope you guys don't work at Waffle House because I'm pretty sure you're legally able to just beat the brakes off of them if they say some shit like that to you in that setting. Why do you think it has planes to be added as a Tekken 8 map if they can secure the rights? When I wouldn't budge, she went to our manager and complained. Luckily, my boss wasn't stupid and said, and if she wanted to have the time off that badly, she should have given advance notice. Real and true. Like, I'm not saying that you should absolutely have to have, like, everything together months ahead of time just to go on vacation, but if you're well aware that this is the case, then you need to implement that into the calculus you're making when you try to go on these trips. She pouted for days and gave me the cold shoulder all over vacation days. Like I understand wanting to go on a vacation, even a last-minute one, because, like, that's exciting. Who doesn't want to get out of, like, the work hellscape? But you knew exactly what being able to do that trip was going to take, and you just didn't follow through with that, and you told everybody you were locked in, but you could actually say that for sure. In fact, it just makes you a liar. Sounds like a win all around. You get to go to your reunion, plus she has to miss her more fun trip. There's like a little petty revenge aspect to that. I might have like felt bad for you in a different circumstance until you tried to make it seem like it was my fault that you didn't plan ahead. I also do not relish you not being able to do something fun. Now, since you made it my problem, I'm glad you're suffering. I hope things get worse for you. To me, the biggest win of all is the cold shoulder part. Her pulling that kind of shady shit is a deal breaker for me. I'd be done with her. I don't know if this person is like relaying the exact words that were said to them, but if their coworker genuinely called them selfish for not wanting to give up their own vacation days, what the hell does that make the person asking you to completely change your plans for their sake? Fucking Cancun, where Ted Cruz went in the middle of his state going through crisis? Fuck you, man. Entitled Karen stands in parking spot to save it, gets shut down fast. Did she get run over? That's my guess. If this story doesn't end like that, I'm gonna feel really let down. Like, that was the setup of the story you gave me, man. Don't be mad that I had expectations that you very clearly set for me. It's a busy Sunday, and I'm circling the packed mall parking lot for a spot. I see one, but a woman in a bright floral dress stands in it, arms crossed, saying she's saving it for her husband. I tell her, you can't do that. I'm not gonna lie, man. She kind of owned you because she was clearly pulling it off until you showed up. She snaps, I've been here for 10 minutes. Find another spot. Cars line up, honking as she rants about her rights. I call over a security guard who says she must move. She yells about her husband's big job until he pulls up, shouting, Karen, I parked over there. Oh my god, that's embarrassing as fuck, man. Your own husband ain't have your back. I kind of respect that she was trying to be nice and hold it down for a betrothed, only for said lover to just, like, not even realize or not care that that's what she was doing, and I already found a spot. Who fucking cares? Face red, she stomps off. I parked with a smile. I don't think I've ever parked with an active smile on my face about getting to park there. Actually, no, that's not true. When I go to like the grocery store and I'm able to park really close to the Walmart entrance, I don't just smile, I get a big toothed grin and I fist pump and actively say yes! Don't stand in parking spaces. Entitled neighbor demands I stop cooking because the smell offends her dog. I won't lie, I don't think a dog is gonna get offended at the smell of cooking. I think you're putting words in that poor pooch's mouth. Words that it never said, because dogs can't talk, idiot. So I live in a small apartment complex. I like to cook spicy food. Nothing crazy, just garlic, chili, and cumin kind of stuff. Last week I'm making some stuff and I hear a knock. It's my neighbor from 2 doors down. She looks pissed. She says, "Can you not?" I'm like, "Not what?" She says, "Cook that. Whatever it is, it's offensive. If you don't get away from my door, I'm gonna put the whole fence in your ass, bitch." I laugh nervously. Why are you nervous? Someone called your cooking offensive? I would assume that to mean they're saying that it smells like shit. It's eggs and tomatoes. She says, "My dog has a sensitive nose. He was shaking from the smell." I say, "Maybe don't keep your windows open?" She says, "Maybe you should stop being selfish." So it's me eating or your dog not shaking? Get out of here. I blink. She's dead serious. Then she says, "I'm going to talk to the landlord if this happens again." I just smiled and said, "Tell him I'll save him a plate." That's actually really boss move shit. Unfortunately for you, the landlord is actually who I'm cooking this meal for right now. He likes me more than you. The principal said I'm his favorite. Guess what? I cooked the same dish again the next day in extra garlic. Haven't heard from her since. You know what? Fair enough. That could have spiraled off the rails very quickly if she was this offended by you cooking food, I guess. I don't know. It's almost a literal nice cherry on top when they say they added extra garlic. I'm being like a bit coy about this. That's kind of like the whole point of this video, like me almost emulating the entitledness that I'm like ridiculing other people for having. But I empathize with that lady, man. It's not like it's fun to see your dog genuinely shaking because there's like smells and things that are overwhelming them. But this comment said it pretty well. Like, apartment living has proximity built into the package, and it's something you're gonna have to deal with unless something is really excessive. You're going to have to deal with other people's sounds and smells more often than you like. And unless it's really excessive, you need to just suck it up and deal with it. That said, I've never heard of a smell making a dog shake. Mind you, there are dogs out there who literally smell dead bodies for a living. And it seems like OP here had like a decent mindset on it. Like, I agree, apartment living means compromise. I'm open to being respectful, but from what I can tell, this isn't something excessive. You know, until you put extra garlic on purpose to make sure she knew you were doing it again. But being a good neighbor is in part being okay with your neighbors not being perfect neighbors, because you definitely aren't one. I know I'm not. I do YouTube for a living. I end up like having recordings at night, and like sometimes I get a little loud. The insulation of the walls is pretty good, so it's almost never an issue. But if it is, I'm like, okay, I gotta work on making sure I'm not loud at these hours, even if it's for work. And that's something I have to take into account on my own time, and I think it's a perfectly reasonable request. You work from home so you can watch my kids, right? I had babysat my neighbor's kids once because I work from home. One morning, she knocked on my door in a rush and asked if I could watch the kids for an hour because she has a date with her friend. Listen, there are extenuating circumstances that make it so like, listen, I have to go and do something. I hate to drop this on you last minute, but could you watch the kids for me because this is something that literally cannot wait? But because you had a date with your friends, you wanted to go hang out, so you decided, I'm gonna drop these kids on somebody who's literally working right now. Before I could respond, she was already in her car. She just left her 2 toddlers in my apartment. Is that not like child endangerment? I had to call her back to explain to her that I couldn't do it because I was in a Zoom meeting, and told her to come get them. And she responded by saying, well, if you're home anyways, what's the big deal? The big deal is they're not mine, and I don't run free childcare out of my living room. Yeah, no, if my neighbors decided to come around and say like, hey, can you watch this 5-year-old for me? I gotta go do some shit for fun. Like, yeah, I work from home, but I do not work for you, nor do I want to, nor do I want your fucking little snotty ass kids in my house. And yeah, this is the big one. The big deal is you'll be arrested for child abandonment. Get your sorry ass back here now. The real issue is some people hear I'm home and immediately assume I'm available. There's a big difference. And you know what? Sometimes I'm home, and that does mean I am available. I still do not want you coming around and dropping that shit on me, even if I'm doing fucking nothing. Because I was really busy doing fucking nothing. You are an adult. Give my kid your seat. I was on a train, exhausted after work, sitting in a window seat. A woman tapped me and said, my son wants the window. You have had your turn. You've had your turn? Wait, I'm sorry, what? I politely said no, and she called me selfish and tried to get the conductor to make me move? And I think this is the darkest path like entitlement can bring you into. You think you deserve something that like you really have no more right to than anybody else. It's first come, first serve. And then think that everybody else is going to also feed into that belief of yours that's unfounded. Like, what do you mean when you got the train conductor to come over to try and get someone to get out of the seat they got first, he just said seats are not assigned, move if you want, do if you do not, and she walked off muttering about how rude people are these days. The thing for me is, like, I'd probably give my seat up to, like, a parent whose kid wanted to, like, go look at the views. I believe in, like, helping enrich them, but I do that because I chose to. Maybe on a certain day, I just don't fucking feel like it. It's not really entitlement, it's just like, I have actively chosen in this particular instance to not, and that shouldn't be a problem. Anyways, that's all I got. If you guys want to see more of the entitled people sort of stuff, or even better, specifically the entitled parents, that can be arranged. If you guys enjoyed, be sure to drop a like and subscribe with notifications on. That card I mentioned should be on screen now. Anyways, this has been Kwite, and I'll see y'all next time.